Come along and please join me in your much-awaited segment of the Capital Forum, Chit Chat with Manoj. Chit Chat with Manoj is a presentation of Mr. Manoj Singh of Caesar Productions. Each week, Mr. Singh presents personalities from different facets of life. Today, his outlook is on aging parents. His guests in this conversation are Mrs. Sangeeta Mehra, a psychotherapist, and Mrs. Geeta Singh, an executive banking sector. Let's have a look.
Welcome to Chit Chat. I am Manoj Singh. Hello, Adab, Namaste. Today we are going to talk about an important topic, aging parents. And joining me for this discussion today on my right is Sangeeta Mehra, a board-certified psychotherapist. On my left is my wife, Geeta Singh. She is an executive in a banking sector. For all of us, and we have to think about it, one day we have to think about taking care of our old parents, whether it's here or in India. It's a very important thing to plan and to talk about. Our parents, or my in-laws, stay with us, Geeta's parents. We feel blessed and we enjoy their company. We hear a lot of stories about how when they were growing up, the partition of India and Pakistan, and we have learned so much from them. But there are some challenges. We know of a very good friend of ours whose parents decided to stay in India. So they decided, both husband and wife and sister, they visit frequently to India to take care of them. Now, Sangeeta, you and Manish both have elderly mothers. What are the implications of parents living either here or in India?
Well, Manoj, it's great to be here. Thank you for inviting me. There are several issues that we have to deal with, emotional, financial, social, and physical. And I put emotional first because this is an emotional time for our parents. All our lives we've been depending on them, and now this is a time when they're dependent on us. So they're very anxious. Sometimes their social structure has been changed because they're living with us, or a lot of their friends or relatives have passed on. And so that's a very difficult situation for them to be. And many of them don't even drive anymore. So they're dependent on us to take them wherever they need to be, and so there's a lot of anxiety that goes on with that.
Mm-hmm. So let me, an interesting fact. I was reading about this topic on Wikipedia, and I came to know that China recently passed a law that children can file, the parents can file a lawsuit or even a complaint if the children don't take care of them. And I was surprised that there is something like that even in India. But you know, it is very hard to implement a law like that because you cannot force love and care. Right. But traditionally, in most of South Asia, it is a tradition that children normally take care of their old parents. And I was also interesting to read that not even just in India, but in Japan and other countries, it is mostly the responsibility falls on the elder son. But nowadays, more and more I see, and in fact, even in our own home, that daughters are actually taking care of their own parents. So, Sangeeta, I wanted to ask you, how does one prepare oneself to take care of the parents? Because it has to be planned and one has to be ready for it.
And that planning actually can start well in advance. You can, if parents are living abroad, it's nice to have them come and visit you. So they start building some sort of a social structure here, trying to find them some community resources, a place where they can go meet other friends, because you are pulling them away from their social structure. So this is a way to get them comfortable in the area. Also, as youngsters, we are probably still working. We're working adults, and it's very difficult to take time out financially to go visit for long periods of time. And we all have our own social structure here. So oftentimes the parents cannot be part of your social structure, so having their own social structure and getting to know their friends, inviting them over, setting up some tea sessions or lunch sessions with your parents and their friends. So you have an extended family group setting up for your parents so that they are more and more comfortable being in this new setting.
Correct.
So I think that would be really important to have that financial stability for them as well as a social stability for them to enjoy their new way of life.
Yeah, and also what I've seen is you have to have a lot of patience. Your lifestyle changes because you have to care for them as another set of children. And they are set in their ways. You don't, and that requires a lot of communication and a lot of feelings attached to it.
Right.
But one has to remember that, when they are the ones who sacrificed when we were growing up. Right. And not only that, we also have to think about that we will be old one day, and then what are our expectations from them. So, Geeta, you have any perspective on that?
Basically, yes. I mean, our parents, they sacrificed everything, as you said, for us. And now it's our turn. And it's not only, we are not really sacrificing anything, we are just incorporating them into our lives and making them part of our lives. And I don't even think it should be anything, it should just come naturally because, this is a cycle. And once they are aging, we are the people whom they are dependent on. I mean, there's not going to be anybody from outside to come and take care of them. And also, as far as the preparation is concerned, there's a lot of, besides, the emotional and the physical, there are other things which need to be in place. Like, they need to be prepared. And a lot of families, especially from our background, don't talk about things like power of attorneys, living will,
Right.
last rights, wills, but they are extremely, extremely important. I am being from the banking, I have seen it over and over again where there is nothing in place. And even, I mean, I'm not even talking about the will, I'm talking about like a financial power of attorney.
And even healthcare directive.
And healthcare directive. And if somebody becomes incapacitated, they can't basically take care of their finances, maybe it might be short term, it might be for 3-4 months, then everything just goes helter-skelter. And it's a bad situation. So these things need to be talked about amongst family. Sometimes, if the children are close and the parents are close to their children and they can discuss it, they should sit down and have a family meeting and talk about it. Or if there is only one child they're close to, that child should talk about it to them. And if they're not comfortable, then they should make an attorney or somebody available to their parents so they can talk it and they can sort things out beforehand rather than it going, in a bad situation later on. So that's a big
Geeta,
part of the preparation.
What I would say there is when you said that if they're close to one person in the family, talk to them. I think it's really important the extended family or all the children have that communication and together so everyone's on the same page.
Right.
Oftentimes one person will say, well, that's what mom said or dad said to me, and the
Yeah.
other will say, well, no, that's what they said to me.
Yeah.
So they can be misunderstandings about what their
wishes
rights
are.
and wishes are. Because
Yeah.
oftentimes, if they pass away in a foreign country, what do they want their ashes taken back to India? Do they want them to go to the river Ganga?
Ganges. Yeah.
What do they want to happen?
Correct.
And
Yeah.
financially, that may not be viable. Taking time off work may not be viable for 6 months or a year. Are they comfortable with the ashes being? These are really emotional
They are.
Right.
They definitely
subjects.
are.
Okay.
And I mean, I think that's why having everything in writing, having everything sorted out beforehand is extremely important.
Yeah. So I want to change the topic a little bit. Another interesting fact that well, we all know, recently there are communities which are coming up, and there's an ad in TV also to take care of senior care homes in New Jersey. There was one place in Florida, Orlando, Florida, and Geeta and I visited that place called Shantiniketan. And very interesting concept. I think hopefully by the time we are seniors, that there are more facilities like that. I personally keep low expectations, and if my kids happen to help us, I think we'll feel lucky. I think always good to keep low expectations, because if you have high expectations and they don't, then also there's another round of effects. So, Sangeeta, I wanted to ask you, this is a question for you. Taking care of parents in old age, we all agree, is a very good deed. Really don't have to believe in God or religion. I mean, if you can take care of your own parents, I think you're doing a very humanly good deed. But circumstances are different for each person.
Yeah, and you know, that's important, because when you said there are certain laws in China, Japan, that insist that you take care of, that becomes a law is grudgingly. So in order to really enjoy your parents or do the best for them, best for their care, it's important just to have a support system set up. If you yourself are not able to take care of them, then find extended family, encourage the grandchildren, encourage other friends, and be in touch with them and say, I want the best for my family, and also it's very important to validate their feelings, because this is a time when they're aching, they're physically unable to do things. So validating their feelings, I understand how you're feeling. I get that you're aching today, but let's keeping them independent is also, I would say, is really important. Because oftentimes as adults we'll say, no, mom, dad, you sit, I'm going to take care of. And they are losing their independence. Encourage them to be part of the home, and taking care of the kids with you. And so validating their feelings, having concern about their emotion stability, and the vulnerability.
Thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you, Geeta.
Thank you, Manoj.
Thank you
You're
for coming to
welcome.
the studio. So you all saw that we only had few minutes. This is an important topic, aging parents. This requires a long-term planning, patience. One has to take care of them. And you have to think about all the different financial, emotional, different elements of taking care of your parents. I would like your feedback on this topic. Also, please let us know what topic we should discuss on this show. That is it for today. Thank you, goodbye, and all the best.